Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio's The Incoherent Ramblings of C&E. Yes. Christopher and Eric are your hosts, coming to you live from Greensboro, North Carolina, as we do every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Our intro music is provided from the Podshow PodSafe Music Network. Check it out at music.podshow.com. Also, feel free to email your topics for discussion, suggestions, and comments to incoherentramblings@live.com.
Hello, Eric.
Hey, Chris.
It is, I don't even know what the date is.
16th, I think.
It is July the 16th, 2009.
Coming to you live from ENC Studios.
ENC Studios.
In Greensboro, North Carolina.
We are actually, tonight, we are on location.
On location.
Isn't that how we say it in the biz?
At the McMahon Estate.
Yes, at the McMahon compound. I like to call it. We actually, Eric has some family in town, and we decided to abandon the C&E studios.
Yes,
but that's fine.
I noticed that some of the tailgaters didn't get the message. They were out there.
No, there's only two.
Right. Did you tell them to follow you over here?
I did. I told them, I had a flute. I was playing it. But probably if you had been there playing the snare drum, it probably would have worked. But no, we are on location.
Yes.
And here to visit with some family once we're done with the show.
Down from Ohio.
Yes.
Showed up just hours ago, actually about an hour ago. I was in Thomasville working on one of my listings house, trying to get it ready for an inspection. Laying some brick and installing some railings. And I wasn't even sure I was going to get home before they did. And I pulled up, and 15 minutes later they pulled up. So it was perfect timing. So
we would like to say good evening to Stuck in the 70s.
Yes.
A new listener from Great Britain.
Yeah.
Very pleased. He gave us some positive feedback last week and a couple other times. And we welcome all feedback. But we really do prefer it to be positive. But with this show, that's kind of hard to come by. So, yes, we appreciate him joining us. Actually, it's just about bedtime for him, so he's not going to be able to hang out the whole show. But he has the option, like all of our listeners, to actually download our show. You can listen to it, stream it from Blog Talk Radio or Facebook or MySpace. But then you can also go
to Twitter.
And
subscribe. I'm sorry, not Twitter.
iTunes. Yes.
And they can subscribe to iTunes and automatically download our show.
Yes, they can.
Or they can call in. Right. If they can listen to it live, they can call in the number and listen to it on the phone. Or even talk to us.
Exactly.
What's that number they call in on, Chris?
We are in different seats today. It is 646-716-6928.
There you go.
That is our call-in number. Thanks to Blog Talk Radio. That's a free service. You can also do a click to talk off the Blog Talk Radio site, and that is a free voice over IP service as well that you can use. So there's a...
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that it's bedtime in the UK. That may explain why we have more international listeners than we do local, because that's a better time slot.
It very well could be, yes.
We do actually have quite a few international listeners.
Yes, we do.
And that really may explain that.
Well, it was very recent. It was 2 days ago that I was actually speaking with a listener of the show. And he basically, he was like, Chris, I love your show. I do. He's like, but it just isn't a good time for me. And we knew that going into this. And to be honest with you, originally, our original show time was 7 to 8 Eastern time. And because of my, honestly, because of my ignorance of how Blog Talk Radio worked, I thought because it wasn't available then that maybe there was some special, that was like for the special featured shows or whatever. But after the first 3 shows, we've had from 7 p.m. on up to 10 p.m. available to us. So we actually could change our broadcast time, but that's something we need to discuss, between Eric and I, and also our board of directors.
Do you have a preference one way or the other? Let us know.
Yes. As one of our listeners just pointed out now, you can also go to the Blog Talk Radio archive to listen to the shows there as well. So there's a lot of different ways to hear this program if you are so inclined and cannot do it, as it airs live.
Right.
But we love the live listeners. We love input. Even if they're not giving us input during the show, we just like knowing that someone's out there. If not, it's kind of like we're sitting, like the time or two I've done it by myself, it was kind of like I'm just sitting there talking to myself.
Well, we usually have a dozen or two.
Oh, yeah.
Live listeners.
Yes, exactly. Well, I have a story that I wanted to lead with. We like to lead with our good stories.
That's right.
This is actually about a young man from Great Britain. We mentioned we have a listener. We have more than one listener, but we have one of our newest listeners is from the Great Britain. This is a survival story that I think is pretty amazing. I don't know if you heard about this or not.
Tell me about it.
Young man was in Sydney, Australia, and he was hiking. He was going for a 6-mile walk in the rugged Blue Mountains, and he left many possessions behind, such as mobile phone and food and other gear. So he basically, 6 miles. It's very doable in a short amount of time. Wouldn't take a whole day. He goes out for this hike, I guess, for some time of reflection. They couldn't find him. He was gone for 12 days. His father flew in. 12 days. His father flew in from Great Britain to help in the search. They had people from all around to join in for the search, and they basically came to the conclusion that he was gone. They really did. And so they actually had a ceremony for him, basically like a closure ceremony. His father, the young man's name is Jamie Neal. His father flew into Sydney to help the search and gave up hope of finding him alive and held a makeshift closure ceremony.
Is this Australia?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I carved his name and lit a candle, buried a red rose for England, and he's come back from the dead. He said this after visiting his son in the hospital, where he's recovering from exposure and dehydration.
Did someone stumble and find him then?
Yes.
Or?
If you just wait for the story.
I'm sorry. It's unraveling unchronologically.
Well, the story was written unchronologically, in my opinion. I'm not doing a very good job piecing it together.
Oh, sure.
Well, they obviously had the ceremony before they found him.
Right.
But they talk about finding him before the ceremony. So the story is actually written out of order.
Yes, it is. Same one.
He was basically 2 bushwalkers and survival experts happened just to come upon him and find him. The only way he made this was because of availability of water due to recent rain. Obviously, you can go without food for long periods of time, but you can't go without water over about 3 or 4 days, and literally you will die.
Right.
So it recently rained, and he was able to drink water enough to keep himself hydrated enough to keep from dying. He was eating seeds. He was also eating a weed that is a type of lettuce. He was talking to me, this is his father, he was talking to me about whether there was a God, and he was kind of losing his faith in the idea because every time a helicopter flew over, he waved and shouted and nothing happened. Understandable. You're sitting there lost, people looking for you, and they're flying over and not finding you. But sure enough, God or something sent these 2 people his way, and they found him and were able to lead him back. But I just thought I was really impressed He's 19 years old, so he's a young man. 12 days he was lost in a rugged country with eating nothing but seeds and lettuce and a sip or two of water.
Right.
I thought that showed very good fortitude.
Indeed.
And I was impressed by him. So Jamie Neal, quite a bit of a survivalist there.
We like to watch that show, Man vs. Wild,
Uh-huh.
and see if he knew to prepare grills and watch that show. He probably would have been rescued sooner.
Maybe so.
Could have made a signal fire. He carried a flint with him and could start a fire.
Right.
As Bear always does.
Well, it seems like to me, that guy also is cheap.
Well, just because he's got a cameraman.
Just because he has a cameraman and helicopters with an exact GPS location, and probably food that he brings with him that we don't know about. I mean, this kid actually was survival man. So anyhow, he showed some good fortitude to come out of a situation where most people would have died.
Indeed.
So I just kind of wanted to leave with that story.
It is a good story.
Because it had
I don't have as many stories since I was less prepared today. Here's a good story.
Okay.
6-year-old tees up his SpongeBob golf ball and hits an 85-yard shot for his first hole-in-one. That's pretty impressive. 6-year-old hitting a hole-in-one. This happened in Michigan. Braden Furlow teed up his SpongeBob SquarePants ball from about 85 yards out, picked up a 3-wood, and made a solid hit that bounced twice on the fairway before landing in the hole. Some golfers go their whole lives without making a hole-in-one, and Brandon's hole-in-one was his first, but that shouldn't be a surprise. He's all of 6 years old.
6 years old. And it went how far?
85 yards.
Not 85 feet.
85 yards.
85 yards. And he's only 6.
He's a 3-wood. 6.
That's impressive. I mean, 85 yards is, 255 feet. That's, wow. That's really a long way.
It is.
Obviously not for a professional, but for a 6-year-old kid. Because when you first told me the story, I was thinking 85 feet.
Right.
Which would still be a long way for a 6-year-old kid.
Right. No, 85 yards.
He may never get another hole-in-one, but he can always say, I have a hole-in-one.
Right.
He's like 12 years old on his middle school golfing team.
When he grows up, he'll probably still play with SpongeBob SquarePants balls.
Why not?
Why not? They're lucky.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing wrong all this time.
He'll be in high school, and he'll say, so how many hole-in-ones do you have? What, are you joking? He's like, well, I've got one. So that's pretty cool. Well, I have a story here. We like story about old people.
Yes.
I don't know why. Especially if they're drunk and on mobility scooters.
Yes.
That's even more fun.
Or just on a mobility scooter going wrong.
Exactly. Maybe they fell asleep at the wheel and woke up 5 miles away from church. Who knows?
Or took a wrong turn and not drunk.
Right.
Down the highway.
Yeah.
Going a whopping 8 miles an hour.
Should have took a left at Albuquerque. Here's a gentleman that has really impressed me.
Okay.
96-year-old grad student. 96.
Wow.
This gentleman is from Taiwan, Taipei, Taiwan. 96-year-old Taiwanese man who will receive his master's degree in philosophy this weekend said he will be able to compete with younger students. He was able to compete with them by pulling all-nighters before exams. His name is Chow, and his classmates call him Grandpa Chow. He was too old to continue as a volunteer at a local hospital, so he decided to go to graduate school. He was like, I'm too old to volunteer my time for free.
So what's he planning on doing with his degree now? What's he going to go into?
And he's probably going to wax philosophical. That would be it doesn't really say, but he said he was bored after he left the hospital.
Wanted a new career change.
He said, I don't play mahjong or have any hobbies. I felt I had to do something with my life. This This is what I like. This guy is 96 years old, and now he could live another 20 years, but it's definitely in the latter years of his life, and he's not even looking at that.
Right.
He's just saying, I was bored. I needed something to do with my life, so he went to school. He said the most difficult part of his studies was coping with a poor memory. I can't remember things as well as my fellow students, so before a test, I would wake up at midnight and study all night. That way the material was still fresh in my mind when the test began. He specialized in the works of, and I'm not going to try to pronounce it, but it was a 4th century BC Taoist master. There was a 25-year-old classmate that described Chow as a polite and modest man who got on well with fellow students and paid great respect to younger teachers, making a deep bow before addressing them. He lived an example of the teachings. He is always at ease, not fighting anyone.
What fraternity did you join? What was that movie you watched with Will Ferrell?
Old School?
Old School.
Yes.
Oh, there was an old man in that movie too, wasn't there?
Blue.
Blue. Blue. You're my boy, Blue. Blue.
That is
You're my boy, Chow.
The scene where after Blue has passed away, and he is at the graveside service, and Will Ferrell is singing "Dust in the Wind." I have rewound and watched that scene over and over so many times. It is absolutely embarrassing. Because Will Ferrell, of course, some people don't like him, but if you like him, you get him.
Right.
And he's just so sincere. Mm-hmm. And he's like putting all of his soul and effort into it. And I don't know how the people I don't know how they're not cracking up. Right. But yeah, that was I don't think Blue was in school with them. I just think he was like hanging out with a bunch of frat kids having fun, doing nude wrestling and whatnot, Right. So yeah, that was a funny movie. So there we go for Grandpa Chow, 96-year-old grad student. That's pretty awesome.
It is.
Can I follow it up real quick, please? An 84-year-old Colorado man gets his high school diploma. Hey. I want a little consistency there. Mm-hmm. This comes from Greeley, Colorado.
Impressive, not quite as impressive.
No. He does have 12 years, though, to finish his...
Yes, he does get his...
If he can finish in less than 12 years, he will trump Grandpa Chow.
There you go.
There's at least one guy with a new high school diploma who's not worrying about getting into college or finding a job. This gentleman is also Asian. His name is Takashi Murata.
You're always smart.
Here we go, being scary biblical. He was 18 and a student at University High School in 1944 when he was drafted to fight in World War II. Though he was the son of Japanese immigrants, he grew up speaking English. In the Army, he was trained in an intelligence unit and given some studies in Japanese. After the war, he was sent to serve in U.S. military headquarters in Tokyo. He said, I really didn't know Japanese that well, but I learned a little in intelligence school, so they sent me. He met his wife there, and they married in Japan, and in 1947 returned to northeast Colorado. He approached his old school thinking his military intelligence classes should suffice for any coursework he missed when he left at 18. They told him he wasn't qualified to graduate. So he became a farmer, and following in his father's footsteps, and raised 5 children, each of whom earned college degrees. But he still didn't have a diploma of his own until a teacher at the school heard the story last year. She found his report cards, got an original diploma from one of his old classmates, and turned him over to the University of North Colorado president, Kay Norton. The high school is now called University High. The university ran it when he attended. Norton presented the diploma to Murata on Wednesday night, and his family celebrated with cake and a party.
Are you saying he didn't have to do any work to get this diploma? That was just like an honorary thing?
Right.
Well, that's less impressive.
Well,
Not like Grandpa Chow,
I know.
doing the work.
Exactly.
Pulling all-nighters, studying hard.
Right. He says, I'm 84 years old now. What am I going to do with the diploma? Look for a job? But he was joking. Yeah. I just thought it was a pretty, this guy, obviously, it was out of his control. He had to leave.
Absolutely. If you're going to not graduate, that's a good reason not to.
Exactly.
To drop out and go to war.
Exactly. So I just thought it was kind of a neat story because there was two stories in a row with older gentlemen that one working harder than the other, but both getting an education accomplishment. And I'm sure he has surpassed time and again the amount of education needed to get his high school diploma.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's kind of an interesting thing I found there with the older gentleman. You have another story for us?
Well, yeah. Stories of following up on the stories of guys who work hard. This is about a Waynesville man who called 911 of his intent to rob a bank.
This is Waynesville, North Carolina.
No, it's Florida, actually.
Oh, Florida. Okay.
There's one in Ohio, too. I thought at first it was maybe Waynesville, Ohio, but this is in Florida. A 52-year-old Waynesville man called 911 on Wednesday to tell police he was about to rob a bank. Terrence Jerami, who investigators believe walked into the Wachovia on Russ Avenue from his house on Parsley Street, was on the line with a dispatcher as he opened the bank's front door. He calmly told the dispatcher he was wearing a black shirt with white shoes and was not armed. He also said he was mentally unstable all his life. I've got a note. I'm going to rob the bank, he said. I need to go to prison. I can't live like this anymore. Police say he handed the teller a note and he was there to rob the bank. The patrol officer, William Benhart, arrived shortly after, and he said he walked up, started to reach for his gun, but then considered that would not be a good idea in a bank full of people.
Right.
Instead, he walked up to Jerami, asked him what was going on. He said, "You got me? I'm robbing the bank." He was put under arrest and detained for questioning. The man demanded to be arrested. "Arrest me," he said. I did it. I robbed the bank. I just handed her a note. He was escorted out of the bank and I got taken to the police station for questioning. I don't know what happened to him.
Hopefully he'll get the help that he needs.
Yeah, he said, "I want to go to prison."
He really probably he doesn't know any better. He shouldn't go to prison. And if he really is that off, there are places for him. A prison would not be good.
He was charged with felony attempted common law robbery, and he is in the Haywood County Jail under a $15,000 bond. Anyway, it's a good story. About a hard one.
Just brought us all down. Well, at least he had enough. I mean, he realized
what he was doing was wrong.
That what he was doing was wrong, and that he needed to be looked after. Mm-hmm. I don't think jail is necessarily the best option for him, but money doesn't grow on trees, but wallets apparently do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. In New York City.
Where do I find a wallet tree?
No. A New York City Central Park worker found a blue leather wallet that had been stolen by a pickpocket 27 years ago. It was found in the hollow of a dying cherry tree. It was near where Ruth Bendick had her swiped while she watched the New York City Marathon in 1982. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was in the park walking over to greet the runners after they finished, and I was in a crush of people, and all of a sudden I realized my purse felt very light. The 69-year-old Upper East Side resident says the only thing missing was $20 in cash. Her credit cards were still there. So were her student ID from Columbia University Teachers College and an employee ID from Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. The park worker says he found the wallet last week under 5 feet of compost. They tracked her down the next day. Well, that was a good story.
Yeah.
Person just nabbed the $20 and left the rest. Of course, identity theft in 1982 really wasn't what it has morphed into now, but at least the person has a decency to leave the rest of the stuff.
Right.
But I thought it was kind of a neat story. 27 years. I'm sure she.
Did she have credit cards in there?
Yeah. Her credit cards, her ID, her everything. Yeah. Everything except for the $20 in cash. So.
Well, speaking of credit cards, I have one of those stories of a consumer who gets a 23 quadrillion credit card bill because of a Visa glitch. Right. New Hampshire man was shocked to learn that when he purchased a pack of cigarettes, he also got charged 23 quadrillion, 148 trillion, 855,308,184,500.
So he must have bought these from Obama.
The new tax must have kicked in. They'll pay off that national debt in no time.
It will. We'll have surplus.
That's right. Well, that's 4 times our national debt right now. So anyway, it doesn't say what brand of cigarettes it was. It did say he was charged a $15 overdraft fee.
Because he obviously didn't have that amount in his account. I read that story also. It actually happened to several customers.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. It was a glitch in the Visa system, and it happened to several different customers throughout the country. But a phone call to them, obviously it was a mistake. Right. There's no question about that. A phone call cleared it up, and they did refund the $15 overdraft fee, which obviously is understandable.
Well, yeah, several people were charged, including a man that's
Texas?
560, yep, North Texas, Wolfgang Puck.
Yes, he was at Wolfgang Puck's restaurant, and he actually sent. I think he joined Wolfgang Puck's Facebook account.
Oh yeah.
In hopes that he would make Wolfgang may kind of contact him because of that.
Right. But no.
I mean, he's a good chef, but I don't know if he's that good. Well, here's a story. Anytime we see nudity, we usually gets our attention.
Yes. Speaking of that, not to interrupt your story, I think I even texted you or called you the other night. The Hooters swimsuit competition was on.
Yes.
That got my attention for several hours.
Very nice.
In fact, it started out with like 124 girls, I think it was, and they all introduced themselves. And the one that I picked, Brittany, to win it all, came in second.
Wow.
Or third. She was in top three.
Top three.
I don't know exactly where she fell in there, but they were all quite attractive. But
I'm sure
you got a pretty good eye. I should be a judge.
Uh-huh.
All right, go ahead with your story of nakedness.
It's not nearly as appealing as the Hooters swimsuit competition, I'm afraid.
Okay.
A man went to his dental appointment naked. If I read that headline, I've got to click it. He was late.
We've all done it.
He was late for his appointment. He ran.
Didn't have time to dress.
He ran when the receptionist screamed. This was in Stratford, Connecticut. Police say a Connecticut man has been arrested because he showed up at a dental office naked. 41-year-old Christopher Hoff of Stratford also was 5 days late for his appointment. He wasn't just a couple minutes late.
He was 5 days late.
5 days late.
Whoops.
Authorities say Hoff entered the dental office Monday with nothing on. He startled female receptionist scream and he ran away. Officers went to his home and Hoff told them he had been sleeping all day. They took him to the dental office where the receptionist identified him. He was charged with disorderly conduct, public indecency, and failure to comply with fingerprinting. He did not immediately return a phone call. A phone message that was left at his home. It's unclear if he has an attorney. This gentleman may be in a similar position as the guy in Florida.
Yes.
He may be mentally unstable. We don't know that. But
he's naked and he's sleepwalking.
Who knows? But I mean, he shows up for his appointment. He's 5 days late, and he's naked. That is kind of caught my attention.
That is a problem.
Do you have something for us?
I got one more story. I was going to tell you, I was talking to somebody the other night. They actually texted me. They said, Am I the only person who finds those Skittle commercials creepy?
Oh, very creepy. I haven't seen one in a long time. The one like where they fall through the rainbow and stuff. I have always found them to be disturbing. I really have.
I agreed. I also told her I couldn't stand the. These aren't really creepy, but they're annoying. The Old Navy commercials I find annoying, and the Hillshire Farm commercials I find annoying.
I don't think I've ever seen a Hillshire Farm commercial.
Oh, they're annoying. And then she emailed back and she says, I think the Quizno commercials are gay. She says, that's a man's voice coming from the oven, talking to a man, and the name of the sandwich is a bullet. She goes, hello.
Right.
So, anyway, that's why I share that. Insight.
I like the commercial. Have you seen the have you seen the Old Spice commercials?
I have.
The one with the guy on the piano?
I don't recall.
He is playing a lounge-type version of Hungry Like the Wolf by Duran Duran.
Uh-huh. Funny in itself. You got me there.
Wearing, I don't know if he's wearing a leisure suit or what, but it definitely looks a little 70-ish. And there are some rather attractive young ladies that are crawling around to him, one on top of the piano, one up to the piano bench, and he's singing Hungry Like the Wolf. And then there's like he winks and there's a little star in his eye.
Right.
It's quite enjoyable, to be honest with you. and they have, you know,
it makes me think that's something that Will Ferrell would do.
Yes, yeah, and it remind you know, we talked about this last week, I believe, or sometime recently. We talked about where they'll come out with a really funny commercial, but then after it airs for 3 or 4 times or a week or 2 or whatever,
they cut it down.
They edit it
right.
to where it goes from 30 seconds to 15 or whatever, and it's not it loses the appeal. Right. And they did that with this one. The first one was much longer. It was hilarious, and then they kind of chopped it up, and it wasn't quite as funny, in my opinion.
I find those Bing commercials annoying.
Who?
The Bing commercials. You've seen that for the Microsoft Bing?
I've seen it in Fast Forward.
Their new search engine. It's annoying.
Have you seen the Dos Equis one?
Remind me.
The most interesting man in the world? I find that quite funny. It's an older gentleman, looks maybe a little distinguished, and they say he's the most interesting man in the world. He's standing there, and like a falcon lands on his arm. And then it shows him like running from someone, and they say he speaks French, and then there's a pause, and they say in Russian. And then they show him with some attractive young ladies, and then at the end he's at a bar with a lady on each arm, and he says, "I rarely drink beer, but when I do, it's always Dos Equis. Stay thirsty, my friend." I don't know. There's just something about when the voiceover is like he speaks French in Russian. That just makes me laugh every time. And then, I mean, this is a beer commercial. He's like, "I rarely drink beer, but when I do."
Stay thirsty, my friend.
I thought that was funny.
Last time I had a feast like this, I was courted by a group of minstrels.
That is, I'm going to go out on a limb here because there are a lot of funny commercials.
Uh-huh.
But
that's a Snickers commercial, by the way.
For overall appeal and humor and everything, that's my favorite commercial in at least the last 5 years. It just, the first time I ever saw it, I'd already seen the previous Snickers commercials, and they made me laugh. But when I saw that one, I had tears. I was laughing so hard the first time I saw it. It is funny. And then the one that came out, it was only on like a week, the one where they're having a picnic. They're all sitting around.
With the men in tights and
and the Robin Hood comes out of the forest and like blah blah blah, and he leaves, and the pilgrim goes, "That's an odd character." So we have a pilgrim, We have a Polynesian. We have
sort of
like
Norse guy, like a
Viking.
Right.
We have like an English nobleman.
Right.
And then we have like a Roman Julius Caesar looking kind of character.
Right.
And they're all together, running around in this
acting normal,
like this 1982 hoopty,
right.
like old classic. And then they think Robin Hood is like. Oh, that is funny to me. That is a funny one. I have to. We'll see if we can find that Dos Equis commercial. I think you would enjoy it. I really do.
Speaking of commercials, we should. Our sponsors are probably getting all over us right now.
They probably are. We'll take a break.
Okay.
We're going to take a break right here, and just a little over halfway through, and we'll play a clip from our unofficial sponsors.
Right.
Hey, Bernice and Joy, tell everyone which power wheelchair got you to the Grand Canyon.
Now I'm free to see the world.
With a Hover-Round, you truly are free to see the world. Hover-Round's award-winning compact round design makes it the most maneuverable power chair in the world. And because it's portable enough to easily fit in a car trunk and powerful enough to pull a 2-ton van, Hover-Round gives you the freedom to go almost anywhere, even the Grand Canyon. Find out if a Hover-Round is right for you. Call one of our friendly mobility specialists for a free evaluation and free Hover-Round video. Hover-Round's licensed nurses will work with you to determine if you qualify for Medicare, VA, or other insurance. With Medicare and a supplement, owning a Hover-Round could cost you little or no money out of pocket. So call now. Declare your freedom to see the world in a Hover-Round.
Now we're free to see the world.
You know, Hover-Round is the only manufacturer of truly round mobility scooters.
Yes. There are many imitators. Those imitators are not round.
Only one Hover-Round.
There is only one Hover-Round. As we've discussed a couple times, it would be really cool if they came out with a hovercraft Hover-Round.
Yes. Well, you know, on the latest commercial, they've got them at the Statue of Liberty. And I'm thinking, I wonder how the Hover-Round got them there.
Maybe, just maybe, it's a hovercraft. It's a beta model.
Hover-Round hovercraft. They've been listening to our show.
You would truly
know what consumers want.
Be free to see the world.
Yes, you would be.
I might even buy one myself. I'm going to go to the grocery store.
A parasailing Hover-Round.
Can go 700 miles on one tank of fuel.
There you go.
I mean, I really think they should take this to heart. Yeah, a 2-seater model for older couples that are retired and want to enjoy their retirement. The golden age.
Yes.
The golden years.
How often they get to school? How often these 96-year-olds get to grad school?
Exactly. Well, here's someone that may need a Hover-Round. Texting teen falls down manhole. Whoops. We all know that walking and texting is a tough combination, but a Staten Island teen learned the hard way when she fell into an uncovered sewer manhole while trying to send a message. I think it was probably a crappy outcome to that. No.
Oh.
Now the family of Alexa Longueria intends to sue, because, you know, that's the American way.
Right.
Sue for everything. Sue for your own child's ignorance. The girl suffered a fright and some scrapes on her arms back after she dropped into the hole. It was 4 or 5 feet. It was very painful. I kind of crawled out, and the DEP guys came over running and helped me.
I said, OMG. And they said, LOL.
They said that they had briefly turned away to grab some cones. So apparently they opened the manhole, then put out the cones instead of putting out the cones in the manhole. And I really do see the point of the cones should have been placed out prior to opening the manhole. But
in this particular case, it may not have made a difference. If he's texting and not paying attention.
That's kind of the point that I was driving at is, at some point, we as humans have to have some amount of responsibility for ourselves. We have to.
Right.
And if you're walking around texting, oblivious to everybody else in the world, I think you're right. I really do think. No, there's no way to know, but I am fairly certain that if those cones had been up, she still would have fell down because she wasn't paying attention.
Exactly.
So instead of, if this had happened to me or you when we were 15, we probably would have got a whipping. And I probably would have told us to pay attention to where we're going and not embarrass it. Instead, now, we've gone to the other extreme where this young lady's family wants to sue because of her own negligence and irresponsibility. So I say shame on her mom and dad, personally.
Right.
She's not seriously injured, no broken bones. She's a little smelly.
Where did this happen?
Staten Island. She said, "Oh my God, it was putrid. One of my speakers is still down there." OMG. So she said that her daughter,
suing for a missing speaker.
Her daughter was walking and texting. It doesn't matter that her daughter was walking and texting, and also the gross factor can't be ignored. Well, boo-hoo.
Wah.
Maybe they could give her a day at the spa, which would include a steam bath and a new pair of shoes, and tell her to become a more responsible person.
Right.
That's my suggestion. And I think the judge should
reward her for not paying attention to where she's walking.
Exactly. That's what you should do. Well, you know what I have to say to her? Exactly. I just don't care for people like that.
I got a story.
German
man tried to fix his leaky air mattress the day before his birthday in his apartment, and instead he blows his apartment up. This happened in Dusseldorf. 45-year-old man used tire repair solvent to plug a hole in his air and left it overnight. But it blew up when he went to inflate it the next day on his birthday. A spark from the electric air pump ignited it, a fire brigade spokesman said. The blast pushed his living room wall into the building's stairwell.
Wow!
And caused extensive damage to walls, windows, and furniture.
Just from a rubber tire repair kit?
From a rubber tire repair kit.
I want to be buying one of those tonight.
Firefighters evacuated a 12-apartment building in a neighboring house block while they checked for structural damage.
Wow.
Can you believe that? The man suffered burns on his arms, and a 3-year-old girl suffered first-degree burns.
So this happened on his birthday. That's not
tire repair solvent. What you're looking for?
Tire repair solvent. I will be buying by the gallon. That's kind of a bad thing to happen on your birthday. You get ready to celebrate and you blow your house up.
Right.
So he's probably pretty down.
He probably is.
And I think we should send him some birthday wishes.
That's a great idea, Chris.
And he's from Germany.
He is.
Well,
do we have a birthday song that might be, say, in German?
I think we do.
Let's say that it's a sing it in Spanish in German.
Yes. He speaks French. He speaks French. And Russian.
Sing es leise, sing es laut. Du hast Geburtstag, oh ja, schaut. Sing es kurz und auch mal lang. Und alle singen welch ein Klang. Happy, happy birthday, welch schöner Tag. Happy, happy birthday, oh wie ich dich mag. Happy, happy birthday, welch schöner Tag. Happy, happy birthday.
You know, Chris, if I had like first-degree burns and I was missing a living room wall, that song would cheer me up. I wouldn't even notice it after hearing that song.
There would be a thing of the past.
It would be.
If I had known about this ahead of time, I would have re-edited that song and had an explosion there at the end. It's just to the sound effect. To cheer him up.
Yeah.
So that was for our birthday bomb victim.
Yes.
Over in Dusseldorf.
In Berlin, or Berlin, birthday Bob Dixon.
Blundering Berlin. This is a great time to share the story. I used to work at a law firm, and it's been more than 7 years, so I'll use the name of the company. One of our clients at the time was Blossom Gas, and we were representing Blossom Gas. They were being sued by a gentleman. I won't use his name. Who blew up his entire trailer. And he traveled from one end to the other and out and smashed into his, his neighbor's trailer.
So he traveled 5 feet?
No, the length of the trailer. From one end to the other. 10 feet. Yeah. I think it was 50 or 60 feet he traveled.
Wow.
But this is the reason why we took this case. He had problems with his gas. It wasn't cold, so it's not like there was a heating issue. And he called Blossom Gas, and they said, we'll be out tomorrow. We're booked. He called like afternoon, 2:33, something like that. We'll be out sometime tomorrow morning before noon. Well, this jack-in-the-box, that wasn't sufficient. He couldn't wait. So he decided he was going to get down under there and check it out himself. And it was at one end of his trailer. And
he smelled gas, maybe?
Yes, he smelled gas. And like, just like you would see something out of a slapstick movie, he decides to use flames
his lighter
to see instead of a flashlight like most normal people would use. He decided to use a lighter. And it blew up, pushing him through, walls, pictures, mirrors, cabinets, you name it, through the entire length of the trailer, blew him through the trailer, and he smashed into his neighbor's trailer. He had multiple lacerations. He's really lucky to be alive, seriously. Multiple lacerations, multiple broken bones, first, second, third-degree burns all over his body. But he had very good medical care and had made it. And Blossom Gas had actually helped with his medical care, and he was suing them for $50 million, $40 million, whatever. Some ridiculous, because he's down there with the flame.
He lacks common sense,
right? And also patience. Right. They said they'll be out tomorrow. It's not cold. Right. You don't have. Laundry isn't that important.
It's still a common sense issue.
Right, but you don't use, when you smell gas, you don't use flame for a source of light.
Right.
Do
you recall the disposition of that case?
I do not remember the outcome. Our attorneys were most confident that they would prevail. And I honestly do not remember the outcome, but I am fairly certain that we did. Because I think if he had won, I think that would have been noteworthy enough that I would have remembered it.
Right.
I won't say his first name. I have to give you his last name, though. Roach. Just found that kind of funny. Like he was a roach down there crawling around, checking it out. I don't know. No, I'm not making fun of his injuries, but really, if you're that stupid, we deserve a laugh or two.
Right.
Really. We've had a couple license plate stories on our show, and I have two today.
Okay.
I believe we had this one.
We did. I recall talking about
it. We did. So I'm just going to cover it so I can go on to the next one. It comes from Denver, Colorado, Kelly Kaufman. She wanted to tell the world her love of tofu.
We all.
Yeah, we all. Because it's so amazing.
Right.
There's nothing more I want to eat than fermented soy.
Well, she's a vegan.
Yeah, she is a vegan. So that lets you know something's wrong. All right. Nonetheless, this is a lifestyle that she has chosen, so be it. And tofu is a staple of her diet. I wonder if she ever thinks about the pain and suffering she's causing the plant that she is removing the soybean from. The soybean deserves some love too. and you're taking part of it away from it. And that sounds so cruel.
It reminds me of the T-shirt we were talking about earlier.
Yes.
I'd be a vegetarian if
bacon grew on trees. Amen to that. So her license plate was I for I, LV for love, right. TOFU for tofu. The DMV won't spell it out for you, but they thought that it was being something profane, saying that she loves to something that starts with an F and a U. And they thought she was trying to be vulgar, and she was told she couldn't have it. Well, here is a gentleman who drives a Chevrolet Tahoe, and he wanted to get. He's from Carson City, Nevada. He wanted to get Tahoe on his license plate, and it was already taken. So he's like, well, how about Ho? So he put in a request for HOE. The Carson City of the Nevada DMV said that they denied it because they said it was referring to slang that references prostitutes. Yes. That's really incorrect because the slang that refers to prostitutes is HO, right? Not HOE. HOE is a garden tool, so right. Apparently Nevada is not teaching their children correctly in school. Nonetheless, William Jung, I think, is going to be able to use it because the High Court said that the DMV based its opposition to his plate on definitions found in a web-based urban dictionary, which includes user contributions. So this isn't like Webster's or Merriam. Justices ruled that the contributed definitions do not always reflect generally accepted definitions for words. His case was pursued by our friends at the ACLU. Said he got the Ho plate in 1999 after being told Tahoe wasn't available. It's nonsense, Jung says. The 62-year-old was referring to his vehicle's model and not prostitutes with his plates, adding, and I agree with him, that was their interpretation. Shame on them.
That's great. I love it.
That was great. The High Court said urban
could be my Ho.
My Ho, yes.
66 Ho.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or 69 Ho. 69 Tahoe. 1969, I refer to the year.
The High Court said Urban Dictionary allows, if not encourages, users to invent new words or attribute not generally accepted meanings to existing words. But a reasonable mind would not accept the Urban Dictionary entries alone as adequate to support the conclusion that the word ho is offensive or inappropriate. That's what the justices said, and I have to agree with them because the Urban Dictionary is online. You and I can go in and make up a word and give it a definition. Right. That doesn't mean it's
shepherding.
Shepherding, exactly. We could go add shepherding, and which was coined on this very show.
Yep. Not meant as a derogatory.
No. At
all.
We appreciate our law enforcement and the job that they do. But it's just a combination of sheriff and deputy. Exactly. So we could go add that. That does not mean that it is an officially accepted word of the English language.
Right.
That's ridiculous. So basically, they were just saying, we understand that
the abbreviation for my poor reading.
Exactly.
I just kind of run things together, and it kind of came out and stuck.
Mm-hmm. The ACLU said that they had violated his First Amendment protections. I would like to ping on the ACLU. That is my First Amendment protection right there, of freedom of speech. I can say I want to ping on them, right. And I do. I would enjoy that, even though I agree from a different angle where they were going here with this. While the Urban Dictionary might be an entertaining website about the English language, the court acknowledged it's not a reliable source for the DMV to make decisions about whether or not a license plate is a border. Right. And I have to agree with them. So he is now going to get he's now going to be able to get his Ho license plate.
Mm-hmm.
maybe
perhaps I love tofu woman could cite this as a
precedent. Exactly.
And demand her I love tofu license plate under her First Amendment rights.
Yes.
Because her First Amendment rights have been violated.
They have been violated. They have been. And I feel for her.
Yes.
It's a tragic thing to have your First Amendment rights violated.
She cannot express her love of tofu.
Right. She couldn't get a bumper sticker.
No.
No, that's not feasible. Or a T-shirt, or a hat, or maybe even a tattoo that says "I love tofu." No. No. The only way she can express her love for tofu properly. Right. Well, I would say the only way, really. Because if it's not proper, it doesn't count. Proper. Yes. The only way to properly show her undying love for tofu is to have it on her license plate.
What else says I love tofu more than
Right.
seeing it on a license plate?
Exactly.
If I was behind her at a stoplight, I could read that license plate and I would know the woman in front of me loves tofu.
She really, because if you take it to the level of having it on your license plate, you mean business.
That's profound love.
It's dedication.
Yes.
It really is.
It's undying.
It is undying. I think we might need to start a movement for her. I mean, she has been, her First Amendment rights
have been trampled upon.
Yes. This is a travesty. Here in America, you should be able to adequately express and properly express your love for tofu.
When clearly, someone's already fought this fight and won.
Yes. For his love of hose.
Yes.
I mean, at the end of that story, he's like, now I can drive this to go pick up my hose. It seems like he pulled one over on the DMV.
Well,
the gay penguins we talked about a couple shows ago, they've broken up.
Oh, that's sad.
It is. It was a love story that tugged at the hearts of the millions of listeners.
Yes.
We received an outpouring of support for the gay penguins. They have broken up. They have parted ways, and they are no longer a couple. We're just about out of time, actually, as a matter of fact. We have just 2 minutes. I'm going to, real quick, from California. They've been having an annual Moon Over Amtrak event in Orange County since 1979. It started over a bar bet where people would go out, and as the train went by, all the people would moon the passing train. Last year, it got out of hand. 8,000 people showed up, mostly out-of-towners. Shepparton shut it down after things got ugly with traffic jams, drinking, and public nudity. This year, this year's crowd, in contrast, is described as mellow. A couple cars got towed. The Shepparton said nobody got drunk, and there were no arrests. Only 400 people showed up. So it went from 8,000 people last year to 400. So
now you really got the dedicated mooners.
Yes. So I think that would be a waning moon. Oh, that was
to the wave.
That's all we have, people. We appreciate you listening in. Thanks to our shout out to Stuck in the 70s.
Yes, and we'll be back in our original C&E studios next week.
Yes, to our tailgaters. Yeah, you can meet us back there. So we'll see you next week.
This has been Blog Talk Radio's The Incoherent Ramblings of C&E. Christopher and Eric are your hosts, and we would like to thank you for listening to our show today. Don't forget to tune in for next week's show live from Greensboro, North Carolina, as we are every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
Bernice and Joy, tell everyone which power wheelchair got you to the Grand Canyon.
I'm around. Now I'm free to see the world.
With a hover round.